So you've had this passion for cooking since you were 10, 12 years old, and you get to the end of your senior year, COVID happens, and I think a lot of great things came out of COVID. Of course, there's a lot of horrible things that came out of COVID with people's health and passing away and stuff like that, but it really forced us to slow down and have some introspection as to, what are we doing, right?
Yeah, I could speak levels to that. The whole pandemic was the beginning of my life's realization of I need to get back into my business.
Yeah,
it was just tough, and I think being hungry like that, struggling, sometimes that's good for you. Feeling like you need to be doing something, and just comfort can make you lazy. And during that time, I was not feeling comfortable. I was feeling hungry, and I was I could either sit here and feel anxious and depressed, or I can get on my feet and go do something about it. So that's what I'm trying to do now.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Tim here with the TMA Connection. It's your local podcast that showcases life, community, and real estate of people who are making a difference. And today we're out of the studio and we're in the home of Evan Reinhardt. Evan Reinhardt, Bel Air grad, and is now starting his own business as a personal chef. Do I call you Chef Evan? Chef Ev?
They call me Chef Ev Cooks, but my friends call me Evan.
So Evan, welcome to the show. Thanks for having us in.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's been a long time coming, right? We've been talking for a month or two about it.
Yeah. Reached out to you on Instagram, saw that you're trying to start something. I always love showcasing people that are making a jump. It's a risk. It's a chance that you're taking, and a risk and a chance that you've taken away from something that you were moving more, in college and stuff like that. And we're going to talk about that in a second.
For sure.
But there's just something about the entrepreneurial journey that really, hypes me up. So I definitely want people to look you up, check you out, and after this interview, if it feels like it's brought you value, please share it, comment. Evan's a great dude and he's doing great things. So again, welcome to the show.
Much appreciated. Those are all kind words.
Awesome. So where did this passion of cooking start? Because let's predicate it with this. I suck at cooking. I am horrible. I am not a good cook. Yeah. I struggle to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That's the trend of today. No one I know can cook that well unless they're my chef buddies. But my love of cooking really got started at youth. I have a funny story I'd like to share with all my friends when they ask me this. Is my buddy or my cousin Brandon when we were younger. We had this shared money box when we were 10 or 12, around that age, whatever. And we wanted to have a restaurant where one of us fished and one of us was the cook. And I think he wanted to be the fisherman and I wanted to be the chef. And then years later, it just came into fruition. Not like that, but it's just when you have that inkling, that thought when you're younger, and you just sit on it and you actually believe in it. And one day it came to fruition, So.
Dude, that's amazing. Most 10 to 12-year-olds aren't thinking about cooking as a passion.
No, I had a lot of things in the universe that helped guide me too. I had a buddy in high school when I was working at Cedar Lane. He was like, "Hey, you want to come food run?" And that was the first instance where I had a step into the kitchen. And then those things, looking back on it, is so many of those little instances in my life were just drawing me back into the kitchen. And it's it's easier to see now, hindsight 2020. But
yeah, that's cool. So you graduated Bel Air 2015.
Yep.
And you're a soccer player. Did you play any other sports?
No, I played soccer mostly in high school. I played a few others growing up, but
okay.
Yeah.
And your older brother Drew was there as well.
Yeah. He was the brains. Now he was the brains. I was the athlete. That's what they always say.
Oh, come on now. And so anyway, but as a teacher, I kind of lose contact after you guys graduate. So what happens after you leave Bel Air High School?
Oof. So high school, I was very confused, not sure what I wanted to do after high school. So the first thing I went to is HCC, and I think I failed out my first semester amongst all of my other friends. And then I went straight back into the kitchen full time. I was just working, not sure what I really wanted to do. And I ended up working my way up through Looney's Pub in Bel Air. I became the sous chef, and then after a few years of working as a sous chef, I became the executive. After becoming the executive a few years, I stepped down. I was around 21, and then I stepped down my position, so I just worked a little less hours. And
okay.
I went back to school full-time at HEC. got my associate's degree there.
Okay.
Moved on to Towson, all while working.
Did you get your associates in like a general studies, or did you have a focus?
So let me back up. I got it in business administration.
Okay.
Because I always wanted to open my own business. Like at this point, I was telling people like, I want to mix my passions. Like I want to find a way to open my business, mix my passions, whether it be cooking, like my hobbies, like martial arts, like have a gym with a restaurant in it. Like who knows? But
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm at HEC, got my associate's degree, and then I went to Towson for accounting. I thought accounting would be the language of business, right? So I learned some basics accounting. Not that I wanted to be an accountant per se. I think that was the most valuable knowledge, like trying to use school as a tool that you can use it for, right? And
Right.
Got to my senior year, and the pandemic happened, and there was a bunch of struggles during that. Like,
oh wow!
So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna call it quits and go back to cooking full time. And as I did that, I realized I had to get my business going. I was like, there's no time other than now. It's like I'm 24. I have all the people that are helping me. I have my parents' support. So that's that. Yeah,
wow.
That got me here.
Wow, and so your parents did fully support you in that decision? Because I know some parents might be like, get your butt back into college.
That's a very, very, very good point. You know, it took me a long time to be aware of that and be grateful for that. I've definitely given my parents a lot of tough times, but now I've realized that they've given me like everything I need with the stability, the freedom to think and to just do. They've never ever doubted like one decision I've ever had, and it's taken like other people's stories, unfortunately, to hear their wrongdoings to help me realize I need to be grateful. But I mean, I'm here now, and yeah, you're right. It is a special thing. Yeah,
definitely. And I think, you know, a lot of times, especially at that ripe age of 18 to 21, you know, kids are like kind of led to having to make a decision as to what they're going to do, and they don't necessarily know. You know, they don't necessarily know what direction they want to take, and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
They did. There were some teachers and counselors who told us that. I remember. I always loved when they would say, and they'd also say HEC is not a bad school to go to, and 100%. I praise that. Like, I'm so glad they were telling me that, but yeah, they don't tell you that there's a bunch of creative ways you can go too. They try and give it to you easily, I guess, when you're in school. I mean, you can go other routes, but yeah, they try and give you a bunch of roles you can go to. But if you don't know, or if you don't resonate with any of those roles, like you just feel stuck, and that's the way I felt. I was forcing mine into the health field, more so physical therapy, and more following my dad's footsteps, which is a lot of what people do. You know, like
that's what they know.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a lot of people go into teaching, and a lot of people follow what their parents do because that's all they've really been exposed to.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, but yeah.
So no, that's all. So you've had this passion for cooking since you were 10, 12 years old, and you get to the end of your senior year, COVID happens, and I think a lot of great things came out of COVID. Of course, there's a lot of horrible things that came out of COVID. Agreed. With people's health and passing away and stuff like that. But it really forced us to slow down and like have some introspection as to, you know, what are we doing, right?
Yeah, I could speak levels to that. The whole pandemic was the beginning of like my like life's realization of like, oh, I need to get back into my business. Like, yeah, it was just tough. And I think being hungry like that, struggling, like, sometimes that's good for you, like feeling like you need to be like doing something, and just comfort can make you lazy. And like during that time, I was not feeling comfortable. I was feeling hungry, and I was like, I could either sit here and feel anxious and depressed, or I can get on my feet and go do something about it. So that's what I'm trying to do now. So was there like a defining moment during that COVID time where you were like, you know, what prompted you to finally just take action and start focusing on starting the business? My health, probably. Yeah. Okay. The stress, I think the decline of my health with the stress of everything during the pandemic, whether it was different viewpoints in my family members and the divide that was happening amongst the people, just the worldwide mass hysteria was super stressful. And I think people didn't realize like how that was affecting them. When I realized that, this is going to segue into like the mission behind my business is I wanted to help. I kept asking one of my mentors, William Lomax, who's also my personal trainer. I would ask him, I was like, what can we do about this? Like, how do people, knowing all of like the things that are happening, how can you do anything about it as an individual? And he's like, being the best version of yourself, doing the best that you can do is like, in consequence, people are going to feed off that positive energy. And that's one of the easiest things to do. So I was like, doing that through my business, I can give people the best food, the highest quality food, and make them feel good. So yeah, tying that back into the pandemic, yeah, I mean, it really helped me get onto my feet and make me want to do better for myself and for others. So
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So, talking about your business, what are some of the services that you're providing? In your business, like when, of course you're cooking food, but like what are the services that you're providing?
So I provide two main services. One is what most people are probably gonna be looking for. We'll see, but meal prep, which is well, I offer two services. Let me back up. Two services: meal prep and private events. And they both offer the same outline of services provided. So, for instance, we'll start with a free consultation. We'll talk. We'll figure out your dietary preferences, whether you have spice intolerance, and then we'll figure out the scheduled day of service after getting to know each other and yada yada yada. And then I'll come and I'll figure out a meal plan at my house. I'll think what we talked about, and then 3 days before the scheduled day of service that we arranged, I'll send you a menu. Make sure you like it. And then I'll come to your house after grocery shopping the day of, and I'll cook, clean, and I'll put all the food away. That's for both services. And meal prep, that sounds more oriented for meal prep. And private events, they'll have more involved. There'll be more ambient, and there'll be two different services for that. But we can get into that later.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, certainly people that are looking to meal prep, or maybe people that are taking a greater control of their health, or maybe even people that are super busy.
Yes.
Which I'm starting to really think about here, because gosh, we're always on the run. Got 3 kids going in all different directions, running a real estate business and everything else. It's like, oh, and now we got to cook. And those are some evil words in our house. It's like, what's for dinner? Oh man, does that shake things up?
Oh yeah, it's gotten difficult. It's definitely gotten difficult. It's not taught as much, but yeah, I don't even remember what the question was, to be honest.
I don't even know if there was a question there. It was just me kind of relating what you were saying as far as the why people are going to be looking for meal prep.
Yeah.
There we go. That's all right. I went down a rabbit hole there.
It's all good. I lost you. I was like, wait, what were you talking about?
What was he talking about? So anyway, all right. So let's this might be a more personal question. So my daughter has a severe milk allergy. So when people are asking for your services, are you taking those things into consideration?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's one of the first things I figure out during our consultation is, do you have any like dietary preferences? And then I'll ask, do you have any allergies? And I did almost work with someone who had pancreatic cancer. And I like, it almost gave me like an altruistic feeling of like being able to work with people like that, like who have the needs. That's like part of the business I wanted to provide, is like getting good food into people that need it, and especially people who are in help. So
that's huge. Yeah. I mean, like you are making a difference in their actual health, because you had to provide that quality food for them they're struggling as they're maybe struggling with cancer or anything like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I definitely have to take all that into consideration.
Yeah, definitely. And so what about these private events? I want to host a private event. What is that going to look like for me?
So I offer 2 different services. One is a family style, which is a little bit more relaxed. It's 3 courses, and I'd come to your home after grocery shopping at local butcher shops or local farms, right? And I'll cook for you guys while you sit there and you enjoy your meal, and I'll try and keep a good flow and a nice ambient energy. And the family style really just means, for instance, say I cook a pheasant or a bird, and I keep it in the pan. I plate it onto the table. You guys will just pick at it. And then I offer a tailored option, which is like your fine dining, I guess, where you get individual plates, and that's what you see on the TV, which is like 1 scallop with like a sauce everywhere, and you get 6 like entrees like that. But that's more oriented towards like fine dining, and that's why it's called the tailored. But
thinking maybe like an anniversary gift for my wife.
Yeah. So they're definitely that both events are good for like weddings, anniversaries, business gatherings. I'm hosting a game night on my birthday, October 29th, upcoming, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, so I mean, any form of event doesn't have to be anything special. It's just if you guys want some good food, hit up your boy Chef Ev.
There you go. Hey, Super Bowl parties,
yeah. Anything. Right. It can be something super casual and kick back like that. That's what's usually like good for family style, like more relaxed setting. Yeah. You just have things everywhere, and you can pick at it as you choose.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the services vary. Just like everything's super variable. Just when we consult, people always have something that's not like on the website, and that's totally okay.
Right.
People want different things, and I talk to them and we figure it out. So.
Yeah, it's good to have that flexibility for sure.
Yeah, that's what people want.
Yeah. Outside of the flexibility, and I've never interviewed a personal chef. You're my first.
Hey,
you know. So in your experience of knowing what is out there and your research and your history of developing your business, is like, what sets you apart from maybe some other businesses that are personal chef in nature?
I would probably say that I try to educate myself behind the science of like what we're eating. Like for instance, they talk about our topsoil and how it's depleted, which is like where our food is grown in, and it's been depleting at such a rate that it's affecting our body's ability to take in the same nutrition that it once was. And getting your food from like the supermarkets and then the normal grocery stores, like they have a lot of tainted food and chemicals that goes into it, and like ripening agencies, or the spraying colors on the food to make it look more vibrant. And I try and do as much research as I can so that when I go to the client's house, like I'm selling what I'm selling. It's like I'm selling you health, and I'm not just telling you, I'm actually making the steps to do it. Like you were talking about if I offer services for people who have preferences for allergies. And it's like I take that pretty seriously because I take my own health pretty seriously. Sure. So I feel like being able to have that naturally, like I care about my body, it's going to reflect in my business. And that's just like authentic. So I have faith in that spreading just organically. That's cool. Yeah. And it's kind of like a farm to table kind of feel. Absolutely. That's really cool. And it's probably supporting local farmers. I mean, is that where you're? The plan is, shout out to Bowmans Butcher Shops, Bowmans Butcher Shop. Say that 5 times real fast. I know. I go there to get a lot of my meats and poultries, and pretty much I'm like a regular there. Okay. But yeah, I go to the Beller's farmers markets, all kinds of farmers markets. But supporting locally is definitely one of the easiest ways to give back to the community. It's like giving back to everyone. Yeah. You're helping the businesses grow to help give better food to people, and hopefully we can get back onto the more farm to table route. And that's definitely the service that I'm trying to sell to. Yeah. That's cool. So farm to fridge. Sorry to interrupt. I labeled it farm to fridge for meal prep. Farm to fridge. Farm to fridge. Nice, yeah. Nice. Well, certainly this week is pretty special for you because you've just launched your business publicly. You got a new website. You had an Instagram. So where can people connect with you, find out more information? And Jay can certainly throw those things up on the screen for us. Sure. Yeah, you definitely caught me during a good week. I had a dinner yesterday. I have a big event on my birthday week. I'm about to launch my website this week, so lots of things going on. But you can reach me on Instagram or Facebook at Chef Ev Cooks, and same thing with my website. It's all there, same name. ChefEvCooks.com. ChefEvCooks.com. Yeah. That's cool. Well, let's wrap this up with a few follow-up questions. My first one, I think I might get hungry on. What are your 2 favorite dishes to prepare? Okay, this is an easy one because I know these. Okay, the first one is beef Wellington. I love cooking beef Wellington. There's a certain anxiety and satisfaction you get because for those who don't know, it's a fillet of tenderloin wrapped with what's called a duxelle, which is less important, which is also wrapped around with a puff pastry. So you can't see the fillet when you're cooking it. It comes out in a puff pastry. And it's a pretty well-known staple item. But when you cut into it, you don't really get to know what the temperature is until you cut into it. So when I'm having all the guests over, it's always like yes, it's a victory when it comes out well, which it usually does. Yeah. Okay. And so that's the first one, beef Wellington, and the second one is more of like a home item, like something that's homey, Okay. And that's chicken parmesan. It's just easy to make. You can make it up in like 10 minutes. You throw pasta on really quick. Chicken, you bread it real quick. Tomato sauce. It's like a late night staple for me. Yeah, and we are like around lunchtime, so I'm assuming that when this interview's over, all of these these are going to be prepared so that I can taste test them and give them the thumbs up, right? Oh yeah, there's only takes like 10 minutes. Right. All right, get to work now. All right. Chef Ev does cook. Chef Ev cooks. What's been the greatest challenge in this journey of starting your own business? Probably balancing that's such a cliche answer, but balancing all the the dimensions. I read books talking about like your physical, your spiritual, mental, emotional, like all that stuff. And what I learned is there's never going to be a perfect balance, like through trying to open up my business. And as I was trying to open up my business, I just realized I would always fluctuate between them, and I'd always try and rebalance it. And then I finally realized you just have to go with the ebb and flow. And that's probably been the hardest part, is just staying on the line and not trying to take too many like bounces too far out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely. And you have some people that are helping you behind the scenes too, to kind of leverage that, because it is very difficult. I mean, it's people look at these videos and they see the podcast and they may wonder, like, when do you ever have time? But it's like when you have like a Jay that can do video and editing, when you have a Sarah and an Anna that can help you with the marketing and client events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a transaction coordinator and a photographer and a videographer and all those things, is like you need that help to leverage yourself, because there's some things that you need to do that are maybe not as dollar producing as getting the brand out there for you. So who would you like to acknowledge that's helping you right now?
No, I appreciate you asking that question, because I'd love to give them this shout out. Brady Stafford, the man that we call him Team. Call me Cook, and he's Team. But
okay,
he's definitely the man. He gave me a lot of the confidence I needed. I wanted to mention this earlier when you asked me what gave me some of the influence to get into this, and I figured out one of my first steps to get into it is I needed help. I needed people to help me get into it. And I was like, okay, a social media manager. Hadn't been on social media for a few years for some context. So I was like, I need help getting on the platform and knowing what to post. And I figured out he worked for a social media company. And I was like, okay, well, that's his game on. He came over and he just started giving me all these ideas, got my website up, and it kind of happened like that. So
that's cool.
I would definitely give a big shout out to him. And then one more, if you don't mind.
No, please.
Besides my parents, who've given me all the stability and freedom of thought, which is just purely amazing. William Lomax, I mentioned him earlier in the podcast, but he's definitely been a big influence. I said he's my personal trainer and a mentor, and that's definitely what he is. He's given me a lot of confidence and strength to go through with all this, and really just pushed me to be who I should be. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, it definitely takes a team,
it does.
And not everybody sees that, but you're going to be the face of your brand, but there's going to be a lot of people in the background that are supporting you, and you want to acknowledge them as much as you can, to show appreciation. So, if you had the opportunity to prepare a meal to 3 different guests, invite them all over to dinner, and these 3 people are going to be able to help you learn and help you grow to become the best business. They're going to be like 3 mentors that could really kind of help guide you in the right direction. Who would you invite over to dinner?
Okay, this is definitely a more difficult one. One person comes to mind off the bat. It might not be so much chef oriented, but people I'd like to give back to, and who I didn't just give thanks to, but people have given to me in different ways. First, I'd like to say John Rollo. He's the owner of my jiu-jitsu gym, and he's associated with a lot of the martial arts that's gone on in the past history. He's a first mover into Shogun fights for Maryland. He's a martial artist himself, but he's helped me. He's given me the opportunity to do martial arts, which helped me a lot in my life, and I would love to have him over. He has a bunch of interesting stories too, so it'd be cool to hear what he has to say at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'd love to have Mr. Gordon Ramsay himself over.
Hey, Hell's Kitchen, right?
As funny as that sounds and as cliche as it sounds, he would be so fun. And his energy in the room is just toxic. So there's number 2. It's an easy one. And I'm going to give a shout out to Josh Beeker, who you had on the podcast earlier.
Hey, Josh Beeker.
Yeah, he's given me a lot of motivation. I saw him on Instagram after getting back on for a few years. So I've lost contact with a bunch of my friends, just like, easy though once you're back on, and I saw what he was doing. I saw him on your podcast. I saw his weightlifting. I saw his thoughts and what he puts out in the world, and I couldn't help but respect it. So I'd love to have him over and reconnect with him. And yeah,
he is such an inspiration. There is no going 95% with him. It's all 100% all the time, and he's just got a great mentality. Check out that podcast with Josh Beeker. That was a pretty special interview.
Sure.
Yeah. I was not your teacher, so you can't say me. Who was your favorite teacher in high school?
I wanted to do a cop-out. I wanted to do a cop-out and be like, I didn't have one in high school or middle school, but elementary school.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, let's give some love to the elementary people.
Well, I don't know, something about middle school and high school. I was just so distant. It was like I didn't connect with too many teachers on a personal basis, but
Wow.
in elementary school I did. And shout out to Miss Randall. It was her first year of teaching when we started, and it was just a special class. We had like a foreign exchange student, and we all helped him learn English. And at the last class, we all got shirts that said we survived our first year of teaching. It was just like such a special. I remember the hand sanitizer smell of the room. It's like such a fond memory of her class.
Neat.
So that one really comes to mind. High school, though, I mean, there was a bunch of good teachers. It's hard to pick. It's really hard to pick, you know.
Yeah, it is tough.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, an easy pick is you. If I want to get some brownie points, I don't want to blow smoke. Yeah, I don't
that's right. I'm not giving you any grades.
For
so.
sure. Not anymore, you know.
Yeah, right. No. Well, hey, dude, I want to acknowledge you. I mean, it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of energy to start your own business. You know, for me, you know, I left teaching after 16 and a half years and got to know the real estate business, and we're continuing to grow and do good things for good people. But, you know, you're taking your passion of cooking, but then you are focusing on the difference that you're going to be making in the lives of others. And that's huge.
Yeah.
I think no matter what you do in life, when you keep people first, when you keep a service mentality first in everything that you do, you win 50 times over.
I
you know,
agree.
chase the money, not going to happen. You know, but if you chase the thought of making a difference in the lives of others, the opportunities are endless, and I applaud you. It's like usually you have an interview like this where it's like, you know, somebody has already made it, you know, but you're just starting the journey, man. You're just starting the journey, and you're gonna do some things, and they're gonna be good things, and you're gonna do some things that just fall flat on their face, and like, but that's the journey
For
of
sure.
like just like the daily grind of figuring things out, you know. And the more people that can help you, if they're watching this and they can get in touch with you and just give you a shot, give you a chance, right? Is what this podcast is all about. It's just spreading this to the community to help other people out, and I think you're going to be phenomenal, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, the mission makes it easy for both of us, right? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, once you have an easy mission and something you truly believe in, it just happens all easy. 50 times easier, like you said.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Again, where can people find you if they want to connect?
Chef Ev Cooks on Instagram and Facebook, and same thing with my website, chefevcooks.com.
Okay. All right. Now, our final question. Okay. At the end of every podcast, we like to give you our guests an opportunity to acknowledge somebody that has significantly made an impact on their life.
Nah, I'll do my parents this time around. I've already spoke on them enough. And same thing with William. Those are two people, but yeah, my parents, we've had like a rough few years, you know, like politically, like being different in the eyes of like the pandemic and everything. But I think it actually is going to bring us closer, like ultimately being through those tough conversations and being put in that position. So I just want to let them know that I'm super thankful for them and everything they've done for me. I keep referring back to the freedom of mind and them not pushing too much on me. And that, I think, is probably one of the biggest positive influences they had. So thank you, Mom and Dad, and Drew. Yeah.
Hey, Reinhardt family, you got a good son here. Follow Chef Ev Cooks on Instagram, Facebook, or his website, chefevcooks.com, right?
Yep.
All right. And you can also follow us at the Markland Advantage on Facebook and Instagram. We're also on YouTube. You can search the TMA Connection, and follow us on TikTok. Are you on TikTok yet?
No, but I think I have to.
I think you have to. We'll talk about that after this interview. At TMA Real Estate for TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, again, give it up for Mr. Evan Reinhardt. Until next time, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care.